All right, testing, testing, 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Can you see me? What's going on? Um, hey, it's me, Simon. This is my YouTube channel, as I'm sure you figured out. Why am I speaking to you today? Why am I here? A lot of my previous content has been animated or live streamed. Why am I making this video? And it's because things are about to change. My channel's not that big. I don't have that many videos. The ones I do have, I'm proud of, though they're well researched, well articulated, I feel, but, being animated and how I didn't have all too much experience with animation, a lot less than I've had with, just video editing and scripting and stuff like that. Um, a lot of the animation looked pretty rough, but all that's about to change because I'm going to be moving away from fully animated videos and to more content like this with me talking to a camera and presenting to you and just talking about, stuff I find interesting, stuff I recently discovered, pretty much anything. I've been inspired by a lot of my favorite creators that I have watched growing up. Hank Green, Bill Nye, Forrest Valkai, Gutsick Gibbon, Mini Minuteman. I mean, I still watch them all to this day. And I'm in university now. I'm studying ecology, evolutionary biology, as well as classics. And I have found this passion, this feeling of necessity for free, accessible, and well-researched educational content, especially in this new age of artificial intelligence. Another resource, sort of like, PBS or Wikipedia. Wikipedia is obviously amazing, but just, more free, accessible, and well-researched educational content. I'm embarking on a mission that, if all things go well, will lead to me creating a resource, I don't want to say like organization, but just some sort of body that will in some way combine research, as I want to do research as an academic, education, because that's the most important thing. Like making sure that all people, people like me, people like you, people like anyone, have access to this information, this knowledge that has been researched. That will combine research, education, as well as, in some sort of fashion, politics. In many ways, I've already started, working towards this goal. Not only with my previous animated educational content, but also with my contributions to Wikipedia. The thumbnail that you saw in this video, the Wikipedia page in the background, is one I created over the Lena horse, Equus linensis, after I saw an article just pop up on my news feed about a recent discovery that I was just interested in. I read the article. I was in 10th grade, I think. Now I'm going into my sophomore year of college. I was in 10th grade. The article popped up. It said, oh, we found a body of a prehistoric horse frozen in the Siberian permafrost, and it had liquid blood in its veins. And I thought that was awesome, so I went to look up the horse. There was no Wikipedia page, so I made one. And that's really the core of this educational mission that I'm starting now. I talked about how we need to combine research, education, and politics, the scientists, citizens, and politicians to move towards a safer, more sustainable, better future, for the planet, for all people, all animals, all plants, all ecosystems, the planet as one, whole. And that starts with just expanding the base of accessible knowledge that we have. So many articles are stuck behind paywalls, and all scientific articles are written in not clear English, like it's very scientific terms, very esoteric terms, very dense, like just not really understandable to most people, myself included, in a lot of cases, which is, what I'm trying to work on getting this degree. Um, but yeah, like that's really the core of this education part, is just to expand the base of understandable, accessible, free knowledge. And then to branch later into actually doing research into things that I and others consider to be important to work towards this future that I hope to help build. And then politics to actually, drive nations towards this. Governments, cities, planting more trees, improving the standards of living, public transportation, that. So yeah, like I've already sort of started on this mission, but now I'm like committing myself to really try this. And I hope that in a few years I look back and like I've actually made progress on this goal. In order for things to get better, in order for us to progress, we need to combine all three of those things. And that's what I'm starting on right now. I am starting with education because that is what I have the most experience with. That's what's easiest to jump right into. And eventually I will branch both into research and hopefully, in some sort of way, politics. Maybe outlining what I would like to see from politicians, and if I get like a large enough following, endorsing politicians that, uh, advocate for like green, sustainable energy sources, combating climate change, stuff like that. The important stuff, really important stuff. Personally, I hope to research as an ecologist or as a biologist ways to combat climate change, to combat deforestation, um, combat the loss of our coral reefs and our biodiversity. And I want to communicate the existence of this research, the importance of this research, to everyone in a easy to understand, accessible, and most importantly, free way. Outside of that, I also want to create a body of work to communicate and educate on all topics, both, for the benefit of anyone who may be watching and also for my own benefit, because I love learning. Yeah, like most of all, the thing I love most in the whole world is learning and bettering myself, every day. And I want to research every topic I possibly can. I want to understand as much as I can about our world, and I want to turn around and communicate that understanding in as easy and understandable way possible to everyone, in a resource, in videos and content that I wish I had when I was researching these topics, and or will be researching these topics, and the sort of content that has inspired me on YouTube channels and on, older television like Bill Nye, Hank Green, Forrest Valkai, all the people I mentioned at the beginning. So, yeah, like my mission that I'm setting out here for myself, for this channel, for my future in content creation and just as an academic and hopefully as a scientist eventually, is to work towards a future where any person and every person is aware of and is well educated on any topic that they could imagine, or can become well educated on any topic that they can imagine in as easy as a way as possible. Like when I was growing up, I would read my little picture books, about animals. I probably have one around here somewhere. I have a bookshelf right to my right. I would read my picture books about animals. I would, just like look at the world around me. I loved my cats. I loved the sky and the trees and the grass. I was a freaking nerd. And then I would go and I'd have my little tablet, or I'd ask my mom for her iPad, and I would look it up. I'd look up stuff about it, and I'd learn. I'd watch rocket launches. I'd watch YouTube videos about how grass grows, how magnetism works, all these sort of things. I'd watch Bill Nye in school, Crash Course from Hank Green, and it would just fuel my curiosity. And in this modern age, where artificial intelligence is being pushed so, heavily, and science denialism and alternative facts are at an all-time high. If anyone, including myself, right now gets interested in a topic and looks it up on Google, the first thing that pops up is going to be the AI overview. And the content that's pushed most heavily on YouTube and on these platforms are going to be low effort, possibly AI generated, and just simply not well researched. Which is why I feel like it is incredibly important to have more people like Hank Green and like Bill Nye, and hopefully, if this all goes well, like myself, to get this information out. Any information about anything, no matter how easy it is to access. Like if you pick up a book, flip to page 1, the information is there, because people aren't picking up books as much as they used to. So I want to try and combat this AI-centric, low-effort content-centric model of the internet that the internet currently has, So, and I want to start giving back to, these internet communities, to the world that has educated me so well, as I've been growing up, and has made me so curious and given me like any resource I could possibly imagine. Growing up in the age of the internet was, I think, key to how wide-ranging my interests and curiosities are. And I just want to give that back. I know this video was more rambly. It's not like a researched scripted video. I just have like my bullet points here to the side, but this is important to me. So I'm just going to talk to the camera and I'm going to explain exactly what I'm doing here. My name is Simon Reed. I'm attempting to make free, accessible, and well-researched educational content on a wide range of topics. And eventually, I wish to branch into research myself and potentially politics in order to push the world in a more education-centric, sustainable direction. But that all starts with education. Research doesn't matter if no one knows about it. Research doesn't matter if no one cares about it and no one trusts it. Politicians and politics, that's all just people, you know? Like no law will be passed to combat climate change or ocean acidification if people don't know what those are and if people don't care. And the way you get people to know and the way you get people to care is exactly the reason why I know and why I care. And that is through free and accessible education online. So that's what I want to do. Thank you for watching. My name is Simon Pierre Reed, and I make YouTube videos.